We'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which this project is created, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We would also like to pay our respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging.
Settle down and gather round for another tale. In the world of Nua, where time has carved and cultivated a magical utopia of wonder, a small group of adventurers unlock the deep mysteries of the land, its people, and themselves. Welcome to the Down Under Dungeon podcast.
At the Priory, I was supposed to be one of the best. They told me I was destined to be a great knight. I'd never been struck down so hard, never felt so utterly defeated as I did today. I came so close to death that I could feel its cold breath on my neck. Running through this god-forsaken tunnel, clutching onto Louis as though my life depends on it, praying that Feng and Quig make it out of here alive. Maybe they should have just left me there. I stood no chance against the Blood Raven. He overwhelmed me in every way, strength, cunning, ruthlessness. And Yellen, what did she do to convince that monster to help her? How did she become so cold, so heartless? I know she craved power, to spread the word of Lady Persephone, but I never thought she would blindly kill for it. But now I know the truth. Yellen has betrayed the church and abandoned the priory. She is no longer a cleric. Does that mean her excommunication of me is meaningless? Have I been free of her judgment this whole time? And yet, despite everything, I find myself wondering, do I even want to go back to the priory? After all that's happened, after all I've seen and done, would I crave their approval as I once did? Louis is the only thing keeping me going right now. Her hands, steadying me, helping me patch deep cuts that mar my body. My dress, the one she made for me, it's in tatters now, shredded and soaked in my blood. I feel sick to my core, but I refuse to look down at the mess I've become. I can't afford to be distracted by the pain, but as I push forward, my mind begins to blur, the world around me slipping into a haze of visions I don't understand. A sickle flashes before my eyes, the cursed sickle, the one that marked me. Then I see Yellen's stone bowl shattering into pieces, and a disgusting, lidless eye. These are fragments of my past, moments from our journey together. And yet, new images emerge, visions I don't recognize. A mountain range, cloaked in shadows, looms before me. A stained glass window, like one from a grand cathedral, flickers into view. Then the bones of a giant serpent. Could they be connected to my sword? As everything becomes more and more disjointed, my mind spinning in a chaotic whirl, my mouth fills with the sharp taste of metal. Steel. Blood? No, it's something else. It's revenge. A thirst for revenge that I can almost savor. It tastes good. So good. And yet, just as the pain reaches its peak, something strange happens. It begins to fade. Everything starts to feel distant, muffled, like I'm sinking deeper and deeper into something soft and cold. I can still hear Louis. Feng. Is that Vanessa? Their voices sound so far away, almost as if they're underwater. Everything is slowing down, blurring together. Am I dying? It feels like I am. Maybe I am already dead.
Last session when we were in the speakeasy, I think, and I was like, okay, listen, we can't freak out now. You got to breathe with me. In, hold, out, and it was just you staring at the window. I don't do anything. I was like, I don't know if I'm receiving.
Yeah, I was going to say last episode, Grandma really had gains.
Listen,
I don't know. It was also just Daniel trying to get so into Feng's headspace of pure, like, just tunnel vision, not seeing anyone or anything around him, but almost like demanding that they listen to him, but not want to say anything at the same time. Just pure, utter, like, not knowing what to do, not knowing what to say, not knowing what to think or feel. And as a player, sometimes you feel like that in those moments. So feel free to lean into that.
Yeah. Get stuck in the frustration.
No, I was like almost in tears listening to the two of you talk. I'm glad that I didn't have to do anything. Lysandra was out cold for most of it.
You don't get to roleplay. You know what you did.
I was being punished last episode, guys. Emerson, please let me have my redemption.
No.
Louis side-eye to your fucking unconscious body.
I wouldn't be surprised if Louis put like a knife through Lysandra at the moment.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just putting you both on fucking child leashes. What?
Oh god.
Oh my god, not like the ones you see.
They're like little
Backpacks.
backpacks.
Oh my
You guys are getting
God.
backpacks. Fuck you.
Can mine be a pretty purple leather?
No, you get boring basic. You don't deserve the purple leather yet. We'll get there.
Your first mistake was having a child.
Yeah.
The second mistake was leashing it with a backpack on top of it. Like, oof.
Yikes.
Anyway. Let's channel that rage into sorrow, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
After Feng and Louis had their little powwow and Promi had given his last lament to Quig and you had gotten a few hours of rest, you can roll your hit dice for a short rest now if you'd
Yes,
like.
please. I'm going to roll 3, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll 2.
Actually, I'm going to roll all 4.
Alright, so you are rolling 4, Feng and Louis. How many are you rolling?
I'll go with 3.
3.
I just rolled 23, which brings me back to my maximum.
Yay! Okay, I got 11 plus 8, 19.
Nice.
Well, look, if you can't have your spell slots back, at least you can have your hit points back.
I would argue that hit points are more important.
Oh, that also gets me back up to full.
And I've got my wild shapes back.
Yay! I get
I'm assuming
back.
Lysandra's still out cold.
Yes,
Yeah,
Lysandra,
cool. Okay.
yes. We will get to you, don't you?
Perfect. Time for me to relax.
So as you all come to from your rest, tossing and turning, you see Vanessa has left some things out for you. You see that there's a basin of lukewarm water for you to clean yourselves. Some fresh clothes for you all to wear. You see Feng, she's kind of stitched together like 2 shirts. It looks horrendous, but it fits you really well. She's definitely got your measurements. You sit around next to Lysandra and have your breakfast. It's very meager. A few crackers and things like that. A few date cakes. And you see every now and then Vanessa reaches down into the pit where Lysandra is laying and casts a few more preserving spells on her. And she turns to you two and says, I'm pretty much just keeping her together as it appears. And you see, even as she begins to talk to you, the wounds start to reopen again on Lysandra, like something is willing the wounds not to close. I don't usually have to deal with this. The effect on her ends when she dies, so, I mean, it's kind of easy for me to suture them up then, but you would like her alive, so hence my conundrum. I need herbs, specific herbs, healing herbs, some of which can only be found quite rarely here on the frontier, specifically marshmallow and fire sage.
Yum.
Yeah.
So
Can we get like
you-
a few of the marshmallow?
No, so for our audience, a marshmallow is actually a plant.
Right.
And the roots of the marshmallow is what flavors the confectionery known as marshmallow.
So can we get more than enough marshmallow so that we can make marshmallows, but also say Lysandra?
You see, Vanessa looks at you and says, well...
That was Daniel. Not a thing.
No, well, the marshmallow, the roots have a sticky residue which will help the sutures actually stick. I don't think magic is going to be enough here. And obviously, fire sage is needed for the fever she's undoubtedly about to fight through. If all goes well, I can have her up to travel in a day or so.
No worries. Those definitely sound like things that the fire druids use. So I can go and ask. I can go and tell Frida that we need this stuff.
you see, after breakfast, she hands you a bundle of Quig's possessions. She places it gently down on the ground in front of you. The box of europium sitting on the top of the pile. He's ready as well. I'm not sure if you want to wait till Lysandra's better. I can keep him here.
Feng will just nod slowly and say, yeah, we'll say goodbye when Lysandra's better.
Right, well, I need to change her linens, so...
Did she throw them?
Bandages! Linen bandages!
Obviously.
I'm sorry.
Did she soil her linens?
Sandra's just power shit herself. No, change her linen bandages.
No, I know.
Yeah.
And Vanessa turns to you and says, I'm happy to get her back on her feet, but I don't know what you've gotten into, but it can't be good, so whatever you need to do, get it done quickly and get out of here.
The less you know, the more protected you are, so don't even worry about it.
Thank you for everything that you've done for us. I don't know how to properly repay you for any of this.
Oh, don't worry, she says, and she fiddles in her pocket and pulls out the red vial and hands it back to you and says, you've paid me more than enough. I have enough to go research here for months, years.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad we could give you something.
Just be careful with that. I reiterate, it's particularly deadly to, and you see her eyes kind of like linger in the corners, particular people.
Thank you for the warnings, and for your discretion, and for everything. Once Lysandra's up, we'll run through and then sort what we need to and get out of here.
She nods and then returns to Lysandra, lowering herself down into the pit and beginning to just like compress huge amounts of cotton swabs to Lysandra, and you already see beads of sweat starting to percolate on her forehead, and you see her eyes move under her eyelids, and she begins to like groan and move.
That sounds like you're going to have a really fun time.
Yes, oh my god, I'm so excited.
What is going to happen now, gang? You are in a very precarious situation in a tinder keg of a city.
Yeah. Feng will probably turn to Louis and say, you know, with the way that everything's happened and the way that it's all turned out, I'm starting to wonder if maybe we kind of need to get out of this city.
I say the same thing. There's absolutely no way we can stay here. If we can get Scruff and get out, we need to be gone. Either before the election or just after it. We need to be out of here.
Maybe we can use the election as like a distraction to leave during it, because everyone's going to be focused on that.
It gives us free exits. I think that's a good idea.
Do you think you're going to be able to convince Scruff to leave?
I can't lose another one.
I have to go to the wildfire circle and get this stuff for Lysandra. And you know, there's the portals. I feel like we can't leave them open and let Yellen use them.
Did you plant your mushroom friend up in those tunnels?
Yeah, actually kind of close by. Maybe like a few days away.
Maybe could you ask them to try and close it?
Yeah, I could definitely try to reconnect with the Myconauts.
Might be a good ally to have, as well.
Yeah. So, do we split up today in Lal Udrud? Do we think it's safe to do so?
I don't know if it's better to travel in a pair or travel separately. At least if we go together, we'll have someone if something goes wrong. So I'd say we stick together as much as we can.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Do we go to the wildfire circle first?
Lysandra needs the stuff.
Let's go.
Get that done. Louis is going to pull out her disguise kit and just fashion herself out of one of her many different scarves in there. Just like a head and face covering that kind of hides her features a little bit as much as she can.
Sweet. Give me just a wisdom check, the both of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a natural 20.
Nice. Louis, you immediately know that the safer route to the Jarl's Keep would be to go through the tent city and traverse the ridgeline of the gorge before climbing down the bluff to the hollowed keep where his little complex rests. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you can take the shorter but far more exposed route through the heart of the gorge using the zigzagged goat track that you've taken many times before. Mm-hmm. You also know, Feng, that in terms of location, the wildfire circle is kind of directly below where the Jarl's Keep is.
Right.
So you could essentially go around and down rather than through and up.
Was there anywhere else that we wanted to check in Lal Udrud? Do we think we have time?
With everything going on, I don't think we have time.
Yeah.
I think we just have to take what we can and get out of here. Whatever is going on, we can try and sort out after, or if we ever come back here, but right now we cannot be seen and we cannot cause a disturbance. We need to go.
Yeah, no worries. Well, I guess we can go past the Yells first and then straight down to the wildfire circle.
And then back here for Lysandra.
Sounds good.
Let's go.
As you leave, Feng, are you doing anything to disguise yourself?
Yeah, why not? I'll just, because I've got my wild shapes back, so I'll just wild shape into that same tiny lizard that I've done a few times, that red and orange one, small enough to fit on Louis' shoulder or in like a pocket.
There's so many pockets.
Yeah. I'm just hanging out the side of it with my tongue out like a dog outside at the side of a window.
Sweet. Feng, do you have proficiency in stealth or deception?
No, neither of those.
Unfortunate. So you will not have to make these rolls, Feng, but Louis, I'm going to need either a stealth or deception check.
Okay.
And you will have to narrate which one of those as you try to not draw attention to yourself.
100%. I'm going to roll a deception check, as I am a bit better at that than stealth. Oh, God. That's a 5 plus a 5 is a 10.
A 10.
Oh no.
I have the lucky feat. May I please re-roll?
Yes.
Yeah.
Arguably lucky.
Yes. This whole group is arguably lucky.
Yeah.
Okay, so using a luck point to re-roll that. That is a natural 20.
Oh my God.
Plus 5 is a 25.
With that nat 20, for today, I will allow you to forego stealth checks now, as long as Feng burns a wild shape in order to fit this contraption. So with that nat 20, with that nat 20, how does Louis maneuver the city? With this is a deception check, mind you, so you're not necessarily hiding, but you're blending in.
Yeah. I think Louis kind of draws the Scars of her Disguise kit up further around her face, gets smaller, hunches her back, shuffles as she walks, and just plays like the tiny little old lady on the shopping trolley that you just kind of like barely see until you're almost running over her, and then it's like, oh, sorry, dear, don't mind me.
Or is it full like out of my way? I'm on the pension.
I feel like it fluctuates between the two, to be honest.
Yeah, with I'm able to judge the kind of like crowd I'm approaching,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, sorry, dear, so excuse me, look out for the elderly, respect your elders, please.
Across the road.
Get your hand off my elbow. I don't need you young ragamuffins.
And then some people, it's just like, get the fuck out the way.
Playing the part perfectly, Louis, you are able to navigate the tent city with ease. Climbing the ridge line, Feng, can I get a nature check, please?
Oh, sure. 9.
You stick to the boulders and to the precipice of Udrud Gorge itself. As the morning drones on, every now and then, Feng, you are tempted by the familiar sounds, smells, and calls from the Mantelope farm.
Oh. Does he see Cecilia?
You do not.
Oh.
As
I
you
swear if she comes up, like, later on in this campaign, in this season, and she's just dead randomly somewhere or just, like, captured, I'm going to jump across this table and murder you.
Just wait until the package arrives on like our doorstep. Cecilia.
Oh my god, Yellen just like starts sending pieces to the Wellspring. It's that crazy bitch.
Oh my God, that is serial killer energy.
Yeah. Anyway, what's happening?
Don't get ideas.
After a while, you appear above the Jarl's plaza, but the only noise you hear is of the wind, howling through an empty keep, and the soft crackling of a fire. As you climb down closer to the administrative building, you see the Commandant and the Jarl Sigurd Scruff sitting around the aforementioned fire. The Commandant is polishing her huge rifle, the Jarl propped up by a small mountain of bags, barrels, and wooden crates piled high with his opulent belongings. Louis, you see the shadow of the man who greeted the masses that day you arrived in the Udrud Gorge. Despite the baking sun, he has foregone his ornate hat. His hair, no longer a river of silk, but dry and thin, tied into a braid that hangs limply upon his collarbone. A simple doublet of linen, a boiled leather vest, and mail of shimmering silver stretch across his frame, yet loosely, dishevelled. Even the twin blades at his side seem to hang lower and without purpose. The Jarl looks thin, frail, and increasingly scared. He drags heavily on a cigarette, and you see the tobacco stains deep in his mustache and fingers. How do you approach?
As soon as Louis and Feng get within eyesight and earshot of the Commandant and Scruff, she'll shed the hood of her scarves, kind of tuck herself back into her prim and proper presentation.
Are you coming out of wild shape, Feng?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think Feng is just sitting, like, hanging in Louis' pocket, not on lookout. Like, he doesn't obviously think that Scruff or Constantine are going to be dangerous. I think he's almost just hiding. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to be walking with Louis because it will almost, like, force conversation, and this way he can, like, avoid continuing to talk about everything with her. Yep. But while in that moment is probably just, like, hyper-fixating on, air quotations, the mission, and is trying to do his best at all times kind of thing.
I think Louis kind of notices how uptight little salamander Feng is.
The most rigid lizard you've ever seen.
Rigid Lizard is a great name for a band.
That's great.
That's like an Aussie indie band name.
Yeah.
Well, I'm claiming it. So even though I'm not a musician...
It's not the Wellspringers anymore, it's the Rigid Lizard.
What are you doing to the Rigid Lizard?
Just gonna pat his little head, try to, like, calm him down a little bit.
It just, like, freaks out.
Oh my god, touch!
Yeah.
And as she enters the keep area, looks at the two of them and just kind of makes her way over, making herself obvious. You're looking a bit rough there, kiddo. Do you need some of those hangover herbs I used to brew up?
You see the Jarl looks up at you. His eyes are very bloodshot and watery. Seems like he hasn't been sleeping very well. And says, "Well, you don't look too crash hot yourself there, mother."
The frontier does strange things to all of us. It's a bit of a rougher world out here than I think I'm used to. Than we're used to.
You see his expression steals a little bit of that and says, "I think you've never said a truer thing in your life. These people, I gave them everything. I can't even go into the keep anymore. It's a bad omen, really. There's only ghosts in there to keep us company now."
I've heard some of them. You give all of yourself and more, and all they expect is the blood and marrow that holds you together.
And that's what you've always taught me, and you see now he kind of looks at his boots and says, "I will not run from that, and if bone and marrow is what is demanded of me, then that is what I will do to win their trust back. I can do it. I must do it."
Sigurd, look at me. Look at yourself. Look at what you've built. It's incredible. You've done amazing things here. You don't have to let this place kill you. You can leave a legacy. Start another.
You see he looks to the Commandant and looks to you and says, "And what kind of legacy would that be? A placeholder? A brigand with a sword who was only given the position anyway because he was strong enough? And as soon as there were brighter minds, smarter minds who dared to ever infiltrate this place, and now I've just been cast aside. I've been outplayed. And I convinced myself that I was good at it. I was the best of it.
You were.
I still am. I can do this." And you see the Commandant leans in and says, "I beg you, my lord, let me stand for you. The state of this city is as much of my burden as it is yours. Let me defend your good name. Let me defend your legacy." You see the Jarl looks to the Commandant and then looks to you, Louis.
You've done all you can. been the best that this city has to offer. You have made it. Rest on your laurels. Come home. Leave this place to whatever future that it has picked for itself. Whatever rabbit hole cult it wants to eat itself with. You created its legacy. Let yourself rest on the victories and don't let yourself go down defending a city that just wants you dead. Don't fight a fight they don't want you to win.
Okay, Louis, so this is how it's going to work. The DC for convincing the Jarl will be determined by his own constitution saving throw. If he passes, the DC will decrease. If it fails, it will increase depending on how much the fail and success is. You will then need to roll persuasion against this DC.
Okay.
So I will determine right now what the DC is.
So you're like full trying to convince him to leave the city, come away with us. Yeah, sweet.
So he rolled a 6 on the dice, which is a failure. So that will be a DC 20 persuasion check.
Oh, shit.
Oh my god.
Failure?
What do you add to your persuasion?
My persuasion is +5.
So you have to roll a 15 or higher.
Okay. That is a 23.
Holy shit.
Oh my god.
You see the Jarl stands and unsheaths both of his swords. His hand quivers for a moment, clutching his scimitars, and then he lets them fall to the ground. You see, at this, the commandant jumps to her feet and puts a hand on the Jarl and says, "My lord, don't let this demon or witch or whatever it is, whatever she was to you, she is no longer that thing, and I fear what will happen if you go with her." And you see the Jarl takes the commandant's hand and returns it to her and says, I'm done.
Billy moves over and just hugs him.
You see the commandant's eyes widen a little bit, Feng, as you're studying her. As Louis goes in for the hug, you see she takes another step back, and you see... Give me an insight check.
Thing?
Yes.
It's a 9.
With a 9, you see a look of something, might be disgust or resentment, flash for a moment across her face before you see she too calms herself, looks to her own boots and says, "If this is your wish, my lord, then let me enable it. I will agree to stay behind as your representative and your champion for the election tomorrow. That should buy you enough time to get out of here. If not, we will both be lost to this city."
Commandant, I cannot thank you enough for all you have done for him and for this city.
You see she looks at you, Louis, deeply, as if she's searching for something, and says, "No, I did it for him, and not for you."
I was thanking you for him. You've been a good friend and a loyal assistant and servant to this city.
You see she stands to salute, bows to the Jarl one more time, and turns away from you to look out onto the gorge.
It's also tense.
Louis going to turn to Scruff, just holds his much taller hands in hers. You can be great, kiddo. You have been great. You can rest. Let yourself be even more incredible.
You see the Jarl just kind of stares ahead blankly. It's almost as if he's shut down. Someone who's been so thoroughly beaten, and not just beaten in the game, but beaten by someone who has outclassed them in ways that he will never comprehend. Now, how are you getting the Jarl back to the mortuary? Well, we can worry about that for a second. Because you clamber your way down the external bluff of the gorge, Feng, to the location where you direct, which is the Wildfire Circle crevice.
Well, I'm still a lizard, so...
Yes.
But I mean, would I be bringing Scruff, though, to the Wildfire Circle?
It's up to you. You can take the Jarl back,
Louis will point at Lizard Feng, pass a little message, and say, "Do you want me to come with you, or should I take him back to the speakeasy? Do you need backup, or will you be all right?"
Feng will respond and say, if he's running away, if he's leaving the city, I don't think that anyone should see him, so maybe I should go alone even though I didn't want to.
As long as you're all right.
Feng climbs out of her pocket and scurries towards where he's got to climb down the cliff or whatever.
Okay.
And I think, it's just one last message that I was just going to say. Look out for yourself and make it back. I love you.
I love you too. And then he climbs down.
Lysandra, I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. This is just gonna be a flat roll. I have no bonuses to wisdom.
Just getting right into the rolls.
Okay. I'm using a different dice this time. The other
Say that
dice
every
betrayed me. No, the other dice betrayed me. Okay? I don't trust my dice. I do now. That was an 18.
An 18.
Very nice.
You are standing in the great marshes of your childhood. The cool mud spreads between your toes, and the smell of wet and decay are omnipresent. Great willows descend their spindly branches from the fog-obscured eaves, caressing your cheeks and hair. Suddenly, in the distance, two eyes appear in the gloom, forming into your shadow as it regards you coldly. You've passed your save, you are able to react.
Okay. Lysandra begins to step through the mud, feeling it squelch up around her feet, her toes, and walk towards the shadow. Bran, is that you?
The shadow shakes its head and points back at you with piercing indifference, and then suddenly you feel something snag at your foot, and I need you to make a strength saving throw.
Okay.
Whew.
That is a 19.
DC was 20.
Oh.
You start to feel something endless, insurmountable pull you down into the mud and the muck, and you start to fight and rip against it, whatever it is that's pulling you down, all the while your shadow just pointing back at you with cold indifference. And through the fog and you fighting, you hear Vanessa's voice. Lysandra, please, you must stay still. Wait, I'll get more cover. Maybe some passion fruit to help you sleep. Stop thrashing. Feng, you scurry down the bluff further, being able to climb down vertical ledges in order to reach the wildfire circle, in order to get the herbs Vanessa needs to help Lysandra. Before long, the crevice which houses the druids reveals itself below you, high on the gorge wall.
I'm kind of torn between two minds. Like, I'm wondering if I should almost just stay in lizard form and try to just go find Frida alone.
Yeah?
So I think I'm just going to stay as a lizard and clamber down and climb through to the wildfire circle and see if I can make my way towards Frida's hut or see what I see on the way.
As you slip your little lizard toes into the crevice,
Lizard toesies.
being so much smaller, you are barraged with the familiar smell of incense, herbs, and charcoal. The paintings of the story of the wildfire druids, of the first phoenix who gifted them fire, now seem to peer down at you, judging you as you crawl along the wall.
Yeah, I'm curious. Do I feel different around the eternal flame at all, or...?
Frida's prophecy definitely seems to resurface into your mind, especially with everything that's happened.
Yeah.
The words claims the avatar of flame and covets it as their own, or all shall be consumed and reborn in terrifying and cleansing light.
Sounds vaguely familiar. Didn't a voice ask me to do that last week?
Arriving into the common area, you find it empty except for Frida,
Oh.
the flame of Lal Udrud. She has 2 charges out here, this time around the central fireplace, harbouring the flame of the multicoloured fire.
Feng, as the little lizard, is going to race along the ground towards Frida and honestly try to get her attention, like a little lizard doing a little dance and a little jig, and almost like whacking her on the leg with his tail as though he's like trying to signal to her to look down and figure out if it's okay for him to change back into himself and talk to her.
I'll make a wisdom saving throw for Frida. It's a 3.
Oh my god,
You
steps
see,
on me.
steps on you, yeah. You see Frida, who is kneeling down next to one of her charges. Both of them are unconscious, but you see she's working. She has this queer device in her hand that's filled with different grasses, and she's blowing through it in order to waft the body with these healing smokes. And at the sensation of something tugging at her skirt to the left, she flinches and looks down and says, "Oh my god, what? Oh, you're not native to these parts."
Feng's just trying to signal, like using his small lizard limbs to like point to his face and then like try to gesture like a really big thing.
Give me a persuasion check.
Surely with disadvantage.
Yes.
Oh, one of them was a 19. I shouldn't have given myself disadvantage. It's a 4.
You see Frida's expression hardens and she says, "Oh, no, you don't. Don't you try and influence me. You're an invasive species and probably really detrimental to this delicate ecosystem." And you see she picks up her staff from the side of the room and turns to you, Feng, and starts to like kind of like move you out towards the door.
Oh my god, does she hit me with the staff?
No, she's doing that thing where she's like just like trying to move you along.
Like you would do with the spider?
Yeah, it's like trying to get a spider out of your house.
Oh, damn it. All right, Feng just changes back into himself and he just like, as soon as his body just like unfurls and his full 7'3" form kind of stands tall, he looks down towards Frida and he goes, "Oh, come on, I was so clear as a lizard, you know? I'm getting better at communicating as an animal. Surely you must have realized that was me."
You see her eyes go wide and she says, and she's going to a charisma save with disadvantage. She rolls a 2 on her dice. You see the hair, literally like furbolgs are so innately magical. You see her fur starts to betray her and starts to like twitch in her face. And she says, "Feng, what are you doing here? Is this about the commotion last night? What's going on? Why are you a lizard?
Well, firstly, we need to talk about how do I get better at communicating as an animal, because there seems to be some sort of language barrier that I really need to solve because it's caused quite a lot of problems so far."
Right. Well, you do know we teach like Druidic in the Druid Circle, and that's
I know Druidic, but like I can't talk as an animal. So do you have a way around that?
Well, I mean, I want to say get good, but like.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but anyway. No, Frida, I feel like I shouldn't really tell you too much because I don't really want to get you in trouble, but there's just a couple of herbs I was hoping you would help me with, and also hoping that you wouldn't ask any other questions about it because I don't want to get you in trouble.
You see at the because Frida kind of stops and looks very eagerly into Feng's eyes, and then when he says, "I don't want to get you in trouble," you see her eyes dart to the floor momentarily, and she says,
"I don't want to get you in trouble because, Frida, I like you. I have feelings for you." Feng is fully playing into the knowledge that he knows that Frida has a crush on him, and this is so mean because Feng doesn't have a crush on Frida, but he just really needs this shit.
Can you give triple disadvantage?
You can if you want.
No, give me a deception check because you're lying, yes.
With disadvantage?
Unless you're persuading her.
No, I'm deceiving.
Okay.
Is this with disadvantage, sorry?
Yeah.
That's a 5.
Oh no.
You see Frida looks really flummoxed and really put off guard at this. And she says, "Feng, look, you need to calm down. I don't know. All of this, there's a lot that you're saying right now, and I think I might have given you too long of a leash.
A leash? What are you talking about? Aren't we meant to be able to go and do our own things? Isn't that what the Druid Circle preached the whole time?
Well, yes, if you were a normal member of the Druid Circle, but if you're the Harbinger of Doom, that kind of changes things a little bit, Feng, and I thought, I don't know, I just thought you were the type of guy who had a little bit more perspective.
Well, I also kind of thought that the Druid Circle was a little bit more open to interpretation of things, that nature would show us the answer, that it wasn't so clear in writing, like like the wizards, like the sorcerers, like those who study it are. That's not how we live, so I don't really understand why we're taking this prophecy as whole truth when nothing's been proven otherwise.
Well, Feng, maybe you are looking for a sign, and maybe I'm the one to give it to you.
What's that meant to mean?
You see, she extends her hand to you.
Are you asking me to hold hands? Like, what?
Do you take her hand?
Yeah, why not?
You see Frida applies her hand to your forearm and begins chanting in Druidic. You hear the words return, compel, head. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Okay. Do I get the sense of what's going on here?
This is a ritual of the circle that's happening.
Would it be wise for Feng to choose to fail this saving throw?
You can choose to fail, but you feel like she is giving you a direction here.
Oh, so failing wouldn't... Okay, yeah, okay. Con save?
Yes.
That's a 22.
With a 22, you see as flames start to lick from Frida's pores. Feng, you don't feel any pain as a brand is burned into your forearm. You see Frida sighs and looks to you and says, "This is it, Feng. This is the mark of the wildfire circle. It is burned on you, and, well, you know, it kind of will stay there until you go back to the circle and answer the questions of the elders there."
I'm gonna do that. I always said that I was gonna do that. What did you just put on me?
You see she looks sheepish for a moment and says, "Feng, you know, this is the mark of the wildfire circle. It's just kind of like we can keep a tab on you until you return back to the elders in Hermitage."
Frida, you said that you weren't gonna tell them, and now I have to go back.
Yeah, Feng, I couldn't risk it. I couldn't risk you. Make an insight check for me.
Dirty 20.
Nice.
With the dirty 20 thing, you realise she might have a crush on you. She's also scared of you and the power that might be within you.
Feng probably starts to feel a little bit scared of himself and doesn't want to face it, doesn't want to talk about it, and so he just kind of like shrugs it all off and says, "Yeah, so I'd need some herbs."
For you? I mean, it sounds like you could use with a stiff drink thing. You're shaking.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I've got a nice wine waiting for me, but I just need marshmallow and fire sage.
You see Frida looks down and averts her gaze, nods, returns to her antechamber, reappearing moments later with what is essentially a herbalism kit. You can add that to your inventory.
Cool.
She says, "Well, yes, I've packed you some extra marshmallow and fire sage. This is kind of what we've been collecting here on the frontier. All of these new herbs and stuff. We're cataloguing them all, and these are the most helpful in healing. So, sorry, Feng, that I went behind your back. I don't know. I just think I'm struggling these days to work out what I have to do versus what is expected of me. And yeah, here's your herbs."
Thanks, Frida. When all else fails, just go back to basics. Trust yourself. You know what you're doing. Even if I don't like the decision, it's probably the right one.
"And you're sure you're okay?"
No, I honestly don't think I am, but I just gotta keep going.
"Hopefully this will all sort itself out soon."
Yeah, hopefully.
Bye, Feng.
Bye, Frida. Yeah. And Feng just walks off.
Lysandra, another wisdom saving throw, please.
Yep. 10.
You are sparring in the yard at the Priory's great monastery in Feldspar, battering away other initiatives with your blunted sword. Your jubilance mixes with the fresh sea air, the shrieking gulls, and the glinting of sun on steel. With every new challenger defeated, you feel yourself become stronger and stronger, more sure of your strength. The last challenger of the day approaches, an enormous bugbear wielding a morning star. The combat is vicious, and sweat flies with the clashing of steel and hacking of polished shields. At the moment you best your opponent, your sword buried down through his collarbone and into his chest. A flash of lightning. The light is gone, and you are staring down at the form of Quig, sword protruding from his limp body, eyes pleading and full of sorrow.
The fuck?
I need a wisdom saving throw.
Oh my god. 14.
It's not going to do it.
Jesus Christ.
You will away the vision, and you hear Vanessa's voice again. Wait, Lysandra, no. Quig? No, my dear, you must rest. He is... what am I saying? Louis.
Hi.
What is the plan on getting back to the mortuary?
I have a disguise kit, which means I have my proficiency bonus added to any kind of deception checks made around that. Could I put my scars on my hood back up, try to disguise him as best I could? I mean, he doesn't really look like the Jarl much anyway at this point, and just try to go back the way we came, away from prying eyes and back into the speakeasy?
Yes, you see the Jarl... Before you leave, the Jarl rummages through his pile of belongings and finds some as common of clothes as he can get. You see he pulls a hood over himself, and you are able to make your way slowly. I feel like Louis would wait a little bit until the sun had reached its zenith in order, because the heat of the day, people move inside. I will still need a stealth check, though, for you, and I will roll for the Jarl.
No worries. I think as we move off as well, Lou's just going to kind of squeeze Sigurd's hand and just say, I'm really proud of you. Know that.
No response from the Jarl.
Yeah. Is it stealth?
Yes.
Oy, oy, oy. Fuck's sake. It's a 3.
A 3. Luckily, the Jarl rolled a dirty 19.
Oh, bless you.
It is very dexterous. So... with that, I will say it takes you the rest of the day to get back. You see some people are starting to shoot you some quizzical looks.
Oh, don't mind me. I'm nothing to look at here.
But eventually, as the sun begins to set, you make your way back to the mortuary. Feng, I'm guessing you're wild-shaped and just moving through.
Yeah, I'll change back into a lizard and scurry back to the mortuary.
Just give me a nature check to see how well you are able to find your way back.
Survival?
Yeah, survival. You're a little lizard.
Yeah. 11.
11 will do it. I will say, especially because you managed to convince the Jarl to come with you, it has really made it that you are having to make a slow retreat back. Are you returning to the mortuary or the speakeasy?
I've returned to the mortuary where everyone is.
Yeah, I would say mortuary.
Okay. When you return, you see Lysandra is not looking well, very pale. You see that there is a lot of wet, damp rags that Vanessa has obviously been applying to keep her fever down. She hurriedly looks at you, Feng, as you enter and says, "Herbs, did you find them?"
Changes back into his own form and immediately gives her the herbs that he got.
You see she snatches the herbalism kit from you, Feng, and says, "Brilliant. Keep an eye on her, won't you?"
Just let me know if I can help in any way.
And returns to her laboratory. That night, you see Vanessa begins to create a salve out of the marshmallow and a tea from the fire sage, which helps Lysandra to sleep. what are your plans for tomorrow? You see the Jarl has said nothing but a thank you for food and a nod of acknowledgement. He almost seems comatose a little bit.
Feng looks over to the Jarl and says, "Oh, hey there, we haven't really gotten the chance to meet before. My name's Feng. I'm feeling pretty shitty like you. How you doing?"
You see the Jarl extends a shaky hand to you, Feng, and says, "Well, I've had better days, that's for sure."
Yeah, no, I agree. It kind of fucking sucks at the moment, but this wine has been making me feel pretty good. Do you want a drink?
Absolutely.
Here you go. And I'll give him a sip of the expensive wine.
You see the Jarl and Feng and Louis share the wine for that evening. You are only running off a short rest, so you are exhausted.
Yep.
You see the Jarl starts to warm to you a little bit, Feng, and says, "It was pretty cool when you turned into a lizard like that."
How did you know that I turned into a lizard?
Oh, well...
You did transform in the middle of the speakeasy, did you?
Oh, yeah, I did. I just thought he knew that I was a lizard when you were talking to him.
Oh. No, I don't. Did you? I don't know.
No, I wasn't paying much attention.
That's fair enough. You've had a day and a week and a long time.
Lysandra, I need one more wisdom save for you, please.
Yes, sir.
Can I give her bardic while she's unconscious?
No.
I hate to tell you this, but that's a 4.
I mean, you have a +0 to this, so
Yeah.
statistically, though, you've rolled above average.
Yeah. It's fine.
The sun is setting over the frontier. Perched on an enormous sandstone monolith, you pull yourself to the top, having traversed its face with ropes and spikes. Breathing heavily, you look to the center, where a bone sword protrudes from the rock itself. As you approach, you hear whispers, the slithering of scales, the beating of wings, as if emanating from the blade itself. As you reach your hand out and grasp the hilt, you hear the familiar screech of an owl, and turning your head to the sky, you see the familiar, enormous black wings, lazily circling your location.
Ew.
You pull the sword with all your might, as you once did, and feel it come free into your grasp. No sooner has the sword left its resting place than before thick, black ichor begins to bubble from the crevice it was nestled in. The putrefaction begins to spread and melt into the very stone, and the monolith starts to creak and crumble. I need a dex saving throw.
Oh my
God.
god.
Oh, Jesus.
That's a 17.
Nice.
The monolith starts to topple, the rock splitting from beneath your very feet, and you begin to fall, and you wake up in a cold sweat. The morning light pouring through the window, and the only sound you hear is Feng's low, tumultuous snores.
Sounds about right.
The first thing that happens is when you feel like you're falling when you're asleep, and it's the most terrifying feeling ever. That's the moment that Lysandra kind of jumps a bit, and she sort of pulls herself up into a sitting position, realizes that she's covered in bandages and linens, sees the mess of healing around her, and of damage as well, looks over and sees Louis and Feng and the Jarl.
Feng is definitely spooning the Jarl. Just so that's clear.
You just had to stop.
You had to.
Is this the real romance of this season?
Yes.
But she doesn't see Quig, and her mind just circles back over all the wild visions that she'd seen the past however many hours it had been. She's lost track of it, and has this feeling of panic and then realization, and she wants answers, but doesn't want to wake anyone, doesn't want to interrupt anyone, doesn't want to cause any more pain and suffering. And so she tries to pull herself out of the hole and is going to begin to look for Quig.
At the noises and groans of Lysandra moving, you are all soon wakened to the noise.
Louis sees her sitting up and trying to move and goes, "Kiddo, you should not be moving in your state. Calm down. Sit down. What's going on?"
Lysandra, you're awake?
Lysandra pushes Louis off. I need answers. What happened to Quig? Where is he? Where is he?
He's gone.
What do you mean?
He didn't make it.
No, that...
We're gonna have plenty of time to reminisce about Quig, but we kinda gotta get out of this city.
Things have gone pear-shaped, my dear. More than.
We're gonna give him a final goodbye, and then we're gonna make our way out.
We can't go together.
What do you mean?
No, I can't put you in any more danger. There's things following me. They can't follow you either. I have to get them away from you. They're following me, not you. So if I leave, they can't hurt you.
I've got an end-of-world prophecy following me, so I don't think you have anything to worry about in that regard. I think we're all kind of doomed, so, we're in this together.
Honey, I'm dead. I'm a walking conundrum of things that should not be happening. I'm not gonna let you out of my sight.
Yes, you will. You've got to.
Alright, convince me. Don't just give me empty answers and promises, and don't just sneak off when my back is turned. Because things go wrong, and when things go wrong, and the people that love you aren't there to help you, we lose people. I'm not losing another one. Give me a reason. A good one.
Louis, you know that I don't know what love feels like. I never will. But if you do truly love me, then you'll let me go. And I'll see you again, I will. But I need to make sure that no one else suffers from the things that are following me. And clearly, you've already suffered. And I can't let that continue. And I'm sorry.
What happened to being open and honest with each other when we were going off to do things? So you're just gonna go off, on some vision quest and then not tell us where you're going? And we have to be okay with that?
I don't know. I didn't think it would end up like this.
None of us did. No one did. We all got on that caravan with hopes and dreams, the bright frontier of questions that we carried with us. None of us thought it was going to get this bad. I understand you have your own path you want to follow. Things that you need to know. I know the feeling. But I'm not just going to let you go without knowing where you are so I can come and find you.
You don't know the feeling. You've been loved.
You are loved.
No, I'm not.
Have we not proven in the last month, at least, that that's what we feel for you? That we think about you all the time because we love you and we want to protect you, and that's why we all spend every moment together? Does none of that count for anything?
Stop treating me like Yellen treated me. Stop controlling me. You don't own me. You're not parents. You're friends, and that's it, and friends listen.
Lysandra, we're not saying that you can't go off on your own or you can't do this.
Yes, you are!
No, we're not!
Louis said that. She said that she's not letting me out of her sight.
She's just merely asking to know where you're going. That's all.
I'm going to find answers. And I don't want you there with me because I don't want you to get hurt, because I care about you. And I've never cared about anyone like I care about you three, and the third isn't even here. So stop trying to be parents, because you're not.
That's fair. That's fine. At least give us a place to meet, a place to be, to find each other again. Because I'm not losing track. I've done that too many times. I don't mean to make you feel claustrophobic. But again, we care about each other. But we do have our own paths to follow, and this city is not safe. It is probably safer if we don't all go in the one direction, you're right.
We did say that all roads lead to Feldspar in the end, so... Lysandra, will you meet us in Feldspar?
I will. And then I'm going to plan how to kill her.
Just to confirm, you mean Yellen, yeah?
Obviously.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Before we start making final plans and goodbyes and timing things because we need to move, there's a person that we can't take with us. And a legacy we have to leave here.
Yeah, let's give him a nice send-off. That's what he deserves.
So after you have resolved to go your separate ways and meet back up in Feldspar, Vanessa indicates for you to descend to the basement for Quig's send-off. You see Vanessa has lit some lamps down here to cast some light descending down the spiral stone stair in the crypts. And you see the small body of Quigwellen lying on the crane, bound in white linen, waiting to be lowered. What would you all like to do?
Louis is going to move up to where his wrapped head is going to lower just a kiss onto his forehead and just say, "I'm sorry, kiddo. So goddamn sorry."
Feng?
Feng's gonna cast Druidcraft in this moment, and just take Quig's wand in one hand and wrap some vine around it with Druidcraft, leaving a lily coming off the end of the wand, almost like it's sprouting out like a spell. I reckon the colours of the lily as well are a bit reminiscent to the colours of the fireworks that he cast in the cart for the children to distract them when Arduinavir stopped. He's going to set down the wand into the crypt with Quig, set down Promy's little lamp. He's got no more wild shapes left to use for today, so he can't summon Promy, but he'll just signal into Promy to let out a nice melodic cry as we say goodbye to our friend.
Lysandra.
Lysandra, after a moment, goes over and sort of kneels down next to Quig. "You didn't deserve this, and I'm so sorry. I should be where you are, and I promise I'm going to do everything I can to avenge you and to let your memory live on."
And as you stand, Lysandra, you don't remember placing the hand on the hilt of your sword as you said those words. And with that, Vanessa begins to lower the small form of Quig down into the crypts beneath the mortuary. Now, you do not have time for this. Today is the day of the election and you need to move quickly. If you are all splitting up in order to make yourselves smaller targets and less recognisable, you need to organise who's leaving and how they're getting out of the city.
Yeah, so what's our way of getting to Hermitage for Louis, Feng and Jarl Scruff?
Is it wise that we travel there together, or should we split up?
Having the Jarl and two Wellspringers together is going to be a pretty obvious party.
So, there's a tapestry woven within everyone's life. Every moment a thread, each choice a weave through the warp and weft. And I think for us to be able to get out of here and get back to each other, our threads need to diverge a little bit.
I agree.
We've left one behind, a dropped stitch. We're never going to be the same without it, without him. But we can move on and live in his memory. And for that we have to stay alive. So, we split. How do we get out of here?
I can go through the portals and I can close them on the way.
Alright. Talk to your Myconid friends.
Yeah, I can reconnect with my MacLeod friends. I'll need someone.
What about you, Louis? You're going to have a target on your back with him. And Lysandra looks at the Jarl.
I'm aware. Good question. I'm gonna turn to Scruff. Do you know of any secretive ways out of here? Ways that are not gonna get us noticed?
You see the Jarl thinks for a moment and says, there's no way on foot quick enough that will get us out before the election, or at least well before the election. I don't know, there was that high elf that kept banging on about the teleportation circle in the keep.
To Winnevier. Yes. Do we know where he's ended up?
He left the keep a couple of days ago. He said his father had rented him a tent in the city or something.
Alright, well, we can follow up with him.
I guess we could also go and ask Arnold and Irene if we could borrow a mantelet, maybe Cecilia, to smuggle someone out of the city.
Or if you're heading for Feldspar, you could ask the Four Eyes.
Professor Carissa.
This is true. So yeah, Lysandra will go to Carissa.
Okay. I would like everyone to roll initiative for me.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
It's a big one today.
It's a huge one.
15 to 20.
15. Oh, sorry, 14.
10 to 13.
13.
7.
Sweetheart. This is literally the exact same way.
I know. Can I just re-roll it and see what I get?
No.
Damn.
Okay, so this is how this is going to work. Each player must make a stealth check against the city's passive DC. That will increase as the day wears on.
Great.
Thank God.
If you pass, you move unhindered and may roll on the positive encounter table.
Oh my god.
For every individual failure, the passive DC is increased by 1.
Well, fuck you, Emerson.
Any failure results on the negative encounter table.
Yikes.
Each round players must make a perception or investigation check in order to glean more information from their surroundings. So, as you all saddle up, I just need to know of Quig's belongings, who is taking the European?
I feel like Louis would probably take that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I need.
Yeah.
Louis, I need a stealth check.
Oh god. Again, old woman. Not quite as bad hips, but still. Not that stealthy. Nope. That is a 6.
That is a failure.
I have one last luck point. Should I use it?
May as well.
Yep, okay, I'm gonna use
Why
my
not?
last luck point. Nope, it's worse.
Oh.
So, Louis and the Jarl head out first. I think the party decides that because they are the largest of the group leaving and the most conspicuous, you decide to let them go first. However, with that stealth check, you see it's very hard to hide the Jarl, and you must move extra slowly. I need you to roll a d4 for me.
Jesus.
This is on the negative encounter table.
Yeah. That's a 3.
You begin to move through the masses of the people of the tent city. Already you see the excitement has begun to set in as today is the day of the election. Voting takes place from sunrise to sunset, so even now you see people wearing the blue colours of Persephone here, and also some much less wearing the orange colours of the Jarl, and you see a forlorn expression over his face.
As they kind of start to move into the throngs of people, Louis takes one last glance behind her, casting a message at both Feng and then Lysandra that just says, I love you. Look out for yourselves. I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
And she heads out into the city.
So you soon begin to pay attention to things like you, which are being ignored by these throngs of people. Most significantly, you see an elderly man, a dented bronze cup in his hand, nonchalantly waving it from side to side. Unlike the other vagabonds taken in by the mother, this man is in a sorry state. His skin is sallow and appears paper-thin, stretched over bones and bearing yellow teeth. No sign of a neat teardrop tattoo, but the flies are harassing and bombarding a sickly-looking scar, open wound upon his forehead, bloody and festering into the crude form of a fox. And can you make a religion check for me?
Sure thing. Oh, here comes the bad rolls. That's a 7.
You don't sense the significance of the fox, but as you move through, you hear him start to shout to whoever will listen. The gorge belongs to no one but the stone! This is the history of this place! This is the history of this place! Remember it!
Is it Robert? The painter?
No, he was a fox.
He was okay.
He was a dog person.
Feng,
Oh.
you take the second way out.
Sure. Do you need a stealth check?
Yes, so it's later on in the day, you're kind of staggering your departures from the mortuary. I need a stealth check, and the failure rate has gone up.
Oh.
So Louis failed.
Oh, no!
Why did we send Lysandra last then? Oh no, yours isn't as bad now.
Yeah.
7, 8.
Oh, God.
Plus?
No, that's including the plus.
Okay.
I guess I'm fucked then.
I need a D4, please.
4.
As soon as you set out into the crowd's Feng, you notice a familiar face. An orphan vagabond child that you had once helped make fire. But he is followed by a harem of tears of Persephone, and their heads almost are bowed towards him in some kind of reverence. You see the child's cloth is thicker, more expensive, and he wears an ornate face covering of silver chains and charms.
Don't do this to me right now. I swear to God.
They twinkle slightly as he moves, no longer an invisible denizen of the city. What do you do?
So it's Blaine, I'm guessing.
Yes.
How close are the tears to him?
They are following him in tight procession, almost like an honor guard.
I've got nothing I can do.
Suddenly down to the side, you see another small child is tugging on the sleeve on your robe. It's a small Orcus child, and she looks up at you almost like she's trying to remember something and says, "Wait a second, aren't you one of them wellspringers? That's so cool! Oh, can I come on your next adventure, please?
Okay,
where are you going to next? Did you really try and kill the mother?"
No, absolutely not. I just need you to be really quiet. Are you going to be quiet? Are you going to be quiet? I need you to tell me right now.
Okay, well,
Be quiet.
Okay.
Okay, we're cool here. All right, you can ask me any questions, but it has to be really, really silent, and you have to keep walking, okay? And keep your head down. Let's go.
Why do you sound like that?
Oh, that's just how I sound. You shouldn't make fun of people's voices. That's kind of rude.
You see she stamps on your foot and runs away.
I'm really fucking angry right now.
Make another stealth check, because she's made quite a ruckus and people are starting to look.
That's a dirty 20.
Lucky. With that stealth check, you are able to slip behind the crowd as people start to look and make your way up to the old Stonehenge. Lysandra, you are last.
Redeem us.
Your party has not left it easy for you.
Come on, please, dice. You have one job. You haven't let me down yet. Come on, that's an 8.
I need a D4, please.
1.
You start to move out later in the afternoon. Most of the stalls have shut up, but you do come across a familiar place in the tent city. The squat monolith containing the Warren and General Goods store belonging to Andrew, the Armadillo folk. A huge line has collected outside his domicile, but a distinctly different feminine voice can be heard shouting from behind the counter. Irene stands proud and confident, ordering her patrons around and grabbing their wares from her uncle, scurrying into the gloom behind her. With water no longer an issue for your regular resident of the city, it appears more people have more money to spend rather than just survive. And just as you are deciding whether it's worth, you see up ahead a checkpoint. On the other side of the square, one you must pass through. 2 hulking tears of Persephone stand vigil, checking the contents of carts rolling through and tearing down the hoods of those who pass. How are you bypassing this checkpoint?
Oh man, you really made this hard, huh? Lysandra is going to do her best to blend in with the crowd, hiding behind carts, doing what she can to not be spotted by the tears. And as soon as she gets close enough, is going to demand her echo to form on the other side of the gate. And when it does, she's going to immediately switch with it.
Nice.
Ooh. I need you to make me just a dexterity check.
Sure.
And this will be against the guard's dexterity check.
Okay.
You have to beat a 13.
I don't trust any of my dice now. I hate this. I've been betrayed so many times. That's 10.
You see with a 10, you do will your shadow on the other side of the checkpoint. And immediately the guards swivel around and start to scream, "Heresy! Demon! A plague upon the frontier!"
While they do that, listen.
No. You don't get to speak anymore. You've done your speaking.
I was going to try and slip in while they're distracted.
And immediately you see the shadow dissipates as Lysandra appears in that space.
Oh, okay.
You're going to have to book it.
Okay, cool.
Just run as fast as you can.
Girl's gonna sprint.
Okay. We will get back to you.
Fucking dice!
Moving to the tent city, Louis, can I get a perception check, please?
Absolutely, you may. Just because you asked nicely. 11.
11. It takes you a while, but after some time, the characteristic ears, nose, and complexion of Arduinavir can be seen as he pokes his head out from a rather opulent tent. Clearly, he has purchased plots either side of this tent so that he doesn't mix with the rabble. So you do see that there's like a full spacing around his tent in the middle of the city.
Oh, this kid.
The tent is made from thick mauve material with silver trimmings at the end, and the seal of the nightingale is on the roof, a silver falcon clutching a scepter in its talons.
All right, you know how this kid works. Let's just go ask him and get this over with quickly.
As you pass inside, Arduinavir looks at you for a minute like someone trying to remember someone who's vaguely familiar to them. They just can't put it. And he says, "Weren't you like a butler or something of mine once?" He says, talking to the Jarl, not you.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
You see the Jarl looks at you, Louis, with the look of, if I had my sword with me right now.
Fair.
Okay, all right. Cool it on the attitude, kiddo. Let's have a second, shall we?
Well, I mean, you came into my tent. What do you want?
Can a person not stop by and say hi?
That's never happened to me before.
You need some better friends. Okay.
Don't forget we know how self-aware he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come to ask a favor, also to say hi. Are you I'm gonna reload that.
No, I love that. I think that's funny. We have come to say hi, but also ask for a favor and say hi.
No, she led with favor, but also.
But say hi. So he knows he's a shithead.
Yes, yeah. And, favor. Ooh, dirty word. What specifically? I don't do chores or anything.
I'm not asking you to do chores. Don't worry. I won't dirty your fancy little hands like that. Are you able to get us out of the city via some kind of fancy high magic teleportation thingamajig?
Oh, he says, oh, that sounds a bit chory, but okay. Father hasn't sent the wizards yet in the teleportation circle, and they can do a much better one, but I could get you one that would get you out of the city at least.
That's all we need. That would be absolutely incredible. Thank you so much.
And that's where you want to go, out and back in the dirt.
That's okay. As long as we're out of the city walls, we can handle it from there.
Right, and this is all, and he looks at the Jarl, this is all above board, right? I don't want any more trouble. If I get in trouble again, my father says he will absolutely decimate my allowance.
It is absolutely above board. If anyone has any trouble, they can come find me at the Commons in Hermitage.
Swear on it, he says, and holds out a hand.
Okay.
You see the most delicate, dainty handshake, and then immediately he like runs out.
I absolutely grab his hand a lot harder than I meant to, and just like give it a vigorous shake.
And he's like, oh, no, bad touch, bad touch, bad touch, bad touch.
Oh, okay.
And begins drawing the teleportation
There's
circle.
a thing called magical hand sanitizer. It's better than wiping it off with your clothes if you're so worried about that.
Feng, we move to you in a moment of quiet here.
At the Stonehenge.
At the Stonehenge, you see the familiar ripple, and it appears the place is empty.
Feng's going to take a moment, probably sit cross-legged, and try to call back to his previous connection with the Myconids. So I want to not only try to connect to the Myconid that I planted near the Apani Empire, so where the Moon Gate is, near that, I also want to try to connect to the Myconid in
The Burrower's Keep?
In the Burrower's Keep, yeah. So that way I'm almost like trying to connect to the entire colony.
Give me a nature check with advantage, Feng, given all the work you did to set up your colonies.
Okay, one is a 5, the other one is a 14.
As you take a moment now, truly by yourself in a quiet place with nothing but the wind and the stone for company, you let yourself fall inwards and try and connect. And with a 14, I say you won't get anything concrete, but you almost feel like a heartbeat.
I think I'm almost just looking to make sure that there's something still near the Moon Gate so that if I go through to there, I might have some kind of ally that I can use.
I would say you get a strong heartbeat towards the west, which you think would be towards the Burrower's Keep.
Okay.
And then another, almost like similar but a different shade or colour, far to the south.
Because my current plan is to go through this portal towards the Moon Gate and then try and use the map to figure out if there's any way for me to teleport away from Lal Udrud and then use my Myconids to maybe close the gate behind me. So if I'm guessing that I'm sensing something though near the Moon Gate at least. Sweet. So I'll just look at Lal Udrud behind me. Take a moment to think about everything that has happened in this city in such a quick period of time, I feel, and reconnect to my druid roots. And I'm going to plant one of my magical beans before I walk through the portal.
Oh, goodness.
Oh no.
Oh god.
Can I do that?
Here we go again.
Do that?
Yeah, Feng takes one of the beans out and he whispers to himself and he goes, well, I mean, everything's kind of been fucking chaotic and random so far, so let's see what happens, and maybe it'll just blow up the city, and that's what I need right now, and I'm talking to myself. Let's go. Do I roll a D100, DM?
Yes, roll me a D100.
I'm terrified.
Come on, you got
Do we
this.
remember what the bone sword was?
No.
Not a clue. 48.
Feng, as you place the bean in the ground, you see the ground beneath it starts to vibrate, and there's a glowing white light pushing out from under the ground.
What?
Oh no.
And you see the bean coughs back up out of the soil and starts to wiggle on the ground.
What?
I need you to roll a d4 for me.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
2?
You see the bean splits and then splits again. And you have 4 new magic beans.
Oh my god.
Fuck, no! I want to get rid of the beans.
Plant all 4.
Just plant another one.
Lysandra, you are crashing through the tent city. I'm going to need another stealth check to try and lose these tears of Persephone.
Man, why does it have to be stealth? Why gotta be fucking athletics to sprint fast?
Okay, you can make it athletics, but the DC will be higher.
I know. Stealth is so hard for me.
Then athletics it.
Okay.
It's not going to help anyway when you roll a 5.
All of our rolls this half, it's been shit.
Sucks to be you, that was a 25, bitch.
You roll a...
Athletics.
Yes. Athletics. Well done. So you are able to tear through this city, and I feel like the need to apprehend you is only being overshadowed by the sheer excitement for the election. And after a while, it seems that maybe there are more pressing things on the guard's mind than chasing you just yet. But you know that you are running out of time. Finally, you appear on the well-worn track to Professor Caressa's outpost, and you see she is moving outside of her tent, many scrolls bound up in tight leather straps. But as you follow the small fox-gnolls figure to her tent, you see it has begun to be dismantled, most of the contents being loaded onto 2 massive okapis. What do you do?
Lysandra catches her breath. Sorry, Professor?
She turns to you and says, "Oh, Lysandra, where are the rest of you?"
We've gone our separate ways.
"Oh, and quick?"
He's gone his separate way as well.
"Oh,
She has this forlorn look on her face.
well, he was always very inquisitive. I didn't expect him to hang around for too long."
Yes, well, I'm so sorry, this is a bit of an urgent matter. Could you help me get out of the city? Please. I'll work for you, anything. I need to head south.
"Oh, well, the mother was going to send some guards to accompany me back to Feldspar. I suppose... No?
No, you cannot let her... I will accompany you. Just tell her that you found someone private, anything. Just don't let any of them near here.
Give me a persuasion check."
Oh man, okay. That's a 10.
That one. You see the professor goes, "Well, it's lucky you're here. They're late anyway. I would prefer a familiar face. The road is quite long back to Feldspar, and I would appreciate the company."
Perfect. Do you have anything that could, and she kind of gestures to the fact that she's still covered in bandages and torn up clothes, well, make me look a little bit more presentable and a little bit more protected against the conditions?
The professor turns to you and says, "There's some better travelling clothes on a copy over there. Make me an animal handling check as you try and get some clothes out from the back of the copy."
Okay, thank you. That's an 11.
11. You see the Okapi turns its head and glares at you menacingly, but allows you to take some of the contents off its back. And after a while, you and the professor begin to leave the city.
Cool.
As we take a bird-eye view of Lal Udrud, we follow the individual paths of the now delinquent wellspringers of the hold of Lal Udrud, scrambling like ants from a nest that is set to explode. Feng pulls his cloak around him, shielding him from the sand and the wind, having conducted his business at the Moon Gate. And Feng, I need you to give me one last perception check after you've finished up at the Moon Gate.
That's a dirty 20.
Here by yourself at the bottom of the Sidewinder Canyon, staring off into the great expanse of Nua before you, you hear the familiar mournful cry behind you and the soft tinkling of a bell as Cecilia makes her way up the end of the canyon towards your familiar scent.
Oh my god, I'm gonna cry.
And so we cut to Cecilia plodding dutifully ahead of Feng.
Cecilia, what are you doing here?
The coarseness of the frontier has wearied the furbog, and he yearns to once again feel the coolness of the grass between his toes and appreciate the heat of a fire on a rainy day.
Come on, Cecilia, let's go.
Louis and Scruff, you as can be seen way off in the east, carefully picking your way through the gorge, heading home. Louis, you consider whether this was your actual purpose here, to guide your lost lambs back, but the cost for saving one lamb was high, and she wonders whether she can keep paying the price. Lysandra, you wipe sweat from your brow as you try to tame your okapi. You traverse a dry riverbed to the west, nothing but your sword by your side now. A quiet comfort. Nothing to lose. Your shadow seems to scare you less now, and when you catch glimpses of glowing eyes or a veiled hand from behind a stone or within a crevice, you don't flinch anymore. Despite the quality, the company is appreciated. but you struggle to see the coven as being just as accepting, nor the priory for that matter. Familiar canyon vultures circle overhead, keeping their ominous vigil over all that walks and breathes beneath them. From the largest humanoid to the smallest gnome, even the most minuscule creature, a sky blue dragonfly dances across the lagoon, its pearlescent wings casting sparks of light and shimmer. A wondrous scene, a delicate system, teetering on the edge of annihilation. And that is where we will finish our first arc.
Oh my
My
gosh.
god.
Righto.
Fuck me with that dragonfly imagery.
Oh my god.
Yeah, going full in on the cinematics this last couple of weeks.
Ow.
That is like an anime ending and a half right there. Oh my god.
And what happens from here? I can't believe we're all split again. What the fuck is wrong with
We
us?
should have just named ourselves the fucking party splitters.
No, we should have named ourselves the Well Splitters.
The Well
The well splinters.
No, that's true.
You
That's
got yourself a case of the well splinters.
I can't believe my bean became more bean.
You're stuck
I
with the
couldn't
beat.
believe it either.
So fucking funny.
I just wanted to plant a bean. I was literally about to just plant all four of them at once.
You should have.
Just a nuclear bean.
Yeah. It's coming, don't you worry. The bean apocalypse.
Well, thanks for sticking around, everyone, for our first arc at the Down Under Dungeon Pod.
Oh my god.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Thanks so much.
It's been a wild ride.
Truly.
And hopefully we'll have some more fun and excitement in the second stanza of our little story here. But before we get ahead of ourselves, is there anything we'd like to selflessly plug tonight?
I would love to selflessly plug Daniel and Emerson here for introducing me to Game of Thrones.
I thought you were just going to generally selflessly plug us.
Yeah,
and I was
but-
about to be
I mean,
about
you're
it.
like both amazing people, don't get me wrong, but they started me on Game of Thrones and
Finally.
look, in my 23 years of life, I've never watched it before and I've never been spoiled by it. So, in the course of 2.5 to 3 weeks, I watched all 8 seasons. Yes, I know, don't say it. I could already see it on your faces. It's terrible. I shouldn't be binge watching it. But I have a few things to say. The last 2 seasons, man, they were unsatisfying.
Hot take. What a hot take.
I almost gave up.
We didn't tell you. Really?
I got 3 episodes into season 8 and I almost just stopped watching.
No, it's not. Obviously, it's not great in retrospect, but I feel like, and I was the same as you. Everyone was telling me to watch Game of Thrones, and I just didn't want to. I was like, no, don't tell me what to
out
do.
of not wanting to do it. My parents didn't let me watch it as a
Right.
right? And they would watch it and they talked about how great it was and they were like, yeah, no, you're not allowed to watch it though. And so I've just never really found the time.
Yeah, fair.
Because it already had its day and then the last season came out and that was it.
And then look at me now, Mum. Now I'm playing TTRPGs because you wouldn't let me.
Now, I just gotta say, so favourite character, Brienne, obviously.
Over Aya? Over Aya?
Okay, I love Aya, but also, they're kind of tied, but Brienne is just really fucking cool.
Yeah.
You know, so Brienne, I fucking love her. But Aya's a little cutie patootie, and she's also scary as shit.
I'm a Rob Stark man, but purely just because Richard Madden is fun as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, Rob Stark is just, you know, I
14 in the books.
That's why I specifically said Richard Madden is
Yeah.
fun as fuck.
I really enjoyed Rob Stark's ending as a character. I think it was...
sorry, when you got decapitated.
And on that note, Amber's favourite moment of Game of Thrones for
The Red
Rob
Wedding.
Stark is the Red Wedding. Join us next.
No, we're actually stopping this. We're stopping this now. Thank you so much, everyone. Well, Too late. Thank you so much for sticking with us. It's been an absolute pleasure being your dungeon master for these first couple of episodes.
Couple?
You know, just a few. Just a demure 26 episodes. But hopefully we have intrigued you enough to stick around and see how this story develops and maybe ends. As always, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at DownUnderDungeonPod. Like, comment, and tag us in any of your fan art, and feel free to email us at downunderdungeonpod@gmail.com. And we will see you when our story continues.
We will see you then.
See you then.
See you
Thank
then.
Goodbye for now.
One.
Question mark.
Now? Goodbye. Goodbye now.
Bye.